In 2019, our business Tribe of Buyers did over $2 million in revenue only from a Facebook group of 13,000 people. And today I'm pulling back the curtain to share with you exactly how to set up your profile and your group in order to make it a killer marketing machine. So this video is a replay of an interview that I did inside of the Fit Pro Mentorship Review Facebook group. If you are a fitness coach or a health professional looking to build your business and you're not sure who to trust, go check out that group. It is a completely unbiased review source hosted by AJ Morton with the intention of clearing out the bullshit so that you can make an educated decision as to who to guide you next. In fact, business coaches are not even allowed inside of the group. So even though I was brought in for an expert interview, I'm not even a part of it. So as someone who has spent over multiple 5 figures actually investing into coaches in my career, I know not all of them are a great investment. So again, if you're a health professional and you are looking for some unbiased reviews as to who to hire next to support you in building your online business, go check out Fit Pro Mentorship Review. It's linked down below. Without any further ado, let's get into the content. So you're going to want to grab a notepad or pop open the notes on your phone or your computer because we are breaking down a profile and a group live. And there is going to be a ton of actionable content here. Let's get into it.
Well, let's get going. Welcome to Fit Pro Mentorship Review, Grant. Thank you so much for joining us, dude. You're here obviously because you operate with incredibly high integrity and good business principles, and you are out there to serve the Fit Pro community and other communities as well, but Fit Pros being one of them. So thank you for just operating the way that you do with good intentions and delivering good services to good people who deserve it and are looking for it. And yeah, man, I'm super excited to chat today.
Thanks for having me, brother. It was awesome to connect with you the other day, and I'm excited to make a difference in some people's lives today.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm hoping we got a couple people hopped on the Zoom. We probably will have more people on the live itself, but yeah, let's get right into it. Actually, I wanted to first ask you a couple of questions about your, I know you have many programs, but one in particular, Tribe of Buyers, is your program that helps people grow and monetize their group. Who is that for? Who is that program for? And who is it not for?
Yeah, so good question. Tribe of Buyers actually is our company, and we've got a few different things that we run all the way up to 7-figure CEO, where we help people scale their business ultimately to fire themselves. And but what we're talking about, I think primarily today, is the group growth and monetization blueprint. It's a really simple process, takes about 42 days, it turns your profile and a group into a profit machine. Very simple. It works for coaches, consultants, and agency owners, basically people that want to sell information or transformation online. Because the whole process is essentially building a raving tribe of buyers around your ideology and your methodology so that you can create leads that want to buy before you even have to pitch them.
That's awesome. Now, I'm assuming like it's not just going to be your standard coach who just has like the same shit to talk about all the time and like the recipes and the smoothies. All right. Like, is it important to someone that they are relatively polarizing in their stance so that they can attract, a certain type of tribe?
Good question. And I would assert that it's imperative that anyone be polarizing if they want to make it in the business world. So it's not that the methodologies will only work for someone like that. It's that people like that are those who are successful, because now with fitness coaches, especially being a dime a dozen, if you are a commodity, you're going to be treated as such and you'll compete on the dollar, and the lowest price wins for the consumer. For you, that means lower and lower profit margins, more and more work, and you're not creating anything that is any better than a personal training business. But if you can assert yourself with a unique ideology, essentially the way that you look at the problem, and transition how your community views the problem as a thought leader, then you become the only relevant solution for someone that resonates with your message, which cuts out price comparison and allows you to dominate your market. And whether you use a Facebook group, paid ads, any other method, that will be the biggest difference maker for most people that are stuck in this. I help people lose weight, or I work with busy professionals. Red Sea.
Right. Yeah. I'm finding that's incredibly repetitive as far as like what we're seeing, and people are wondering why they're just not getting a lot of traction or why they don't feel they can, charge higher prices. Yeah. So I think you're nailing it there. I think if you can stand on some, polar edge of something, and it doesn't really matter what it is, but if you can be a polarizing, figure on some topic, people will gravitate towards that. And then you just like literally just canceled out all the other options that person has to work with. There's so many people giving out the same advice. There's so many people positioning themselves in the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's really good advice, man.
Definitely. All right, man. Well, I'm excited to dive into this. I'll let you obviously have the reins. I want to make sure that we make the most of the time here. And if I could, I would love to condense down like a month-long process into an hour and just give it to everyone. I don't think I'm going to be able to quite do that, but ideally we can run through all the things necessary to at least get someone started.
Cool.
Because fitness coaches that learn how to leverage groups the right way are going to have an enormous platform, especially now that Facebook is putting a lot more money behind groups, to the tune of, like you mentioned, $10 million in the Super Bowl just
Right.
to promote the new groups feature. When a company that size puts that kind of money behind a feature, you know that they're putting attention there too.
Yeah, and I think that's such an important need, because anytime, like when I had my fitness groups, man, it sucks. It's crickets. And I think a lot of people can relate, because we just don't really know what to put in there. We don't really know how to use it very well. It's kind of like a side thing. Like we got the group, we do some support stuff in there, but yeah, from like a lead nurturing, it's just like, it's really, I find it like pretty challenging as far as I'm concerned, to drum up enough engagement to have like consistent buyers from it.
Mm.
I kind of feel like they get filled every time we'd offer a free challenge, and they'd fill up the group with a bunch of free people, who want free stuff. And then they're crickets until you offer your next free challenge. Then they're like loving it and engagement's really high and all that stuff. So I think this is so needed, especially like you said, with like, groups didn't work before, kind of not that big of a deal. But with Facebook favoring it now and the algorithm following suit, I think it's going to be that much more important to get on board with it. So we might as well just learn from you and do it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to take everything that I say as paramount or fact, but this is stuff that's working right now. Just in 2019, we did over $2 million completely organically, 100% from a Facebook group, not a single other advertising source. We have multiple clients that did more. So we know there's money there. And we know that there are definitely ways to do it wrong. Personally, from my experience, I worked with a couple different business coaches when I ran my own fitness company.
Yeah.
They also taught using groups as a part of the marketing strategy, but they did it in a very different way than what I saw Andrew Cruzy doing back when I started working with him in February of last year.
Mm.
And guy changed the game. And it's little tweaks. It's not a matter of huge changes that need to be made, but millimeter shifts can make a huge difference when you're doing a community.
Mm. Cool. Are you gonna let us in on some of that juicy bit?
Yeah, ideally, I would love to actually break down someone's group live, to actually give them the opportunity to make the exact shifts that'll bring them more business. But if no one's ready to volunteer, then we can just kind of go into some of the basics. So
Yeah, no, we have a good amount of people on. So does someone want to kind of volunteer their group for a sacrifice and let Grant tear it up? I mean, this is an incredible opportunity. Like, I would do it hands down. And if no one does it, I'm going to be, someone raised their hands. Perfect. I said I was going to be very surprised if no one takes their hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, we do group and profile audits for our clients in the 6,000 tier and up, but even the course, like it's a do-it-yourself thing. So
okay.
This will be a unique opportunity.
I don't know someone raised their hand. I don't know who it is, but yeah.
Drop it in the chat.
Drop it in the chat so we know you want to get your group audited live on the call with Grant. Otherwise, he and I are just going to be talking the whole time. You don't want.
Right. I see an Eric Ledin. I hope I'm saying that right, brother. I've got the hardest last name to pronounce, so I just go by Coach Grant. All right.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead then and see if I have the ability to share my screen.
You absolutely should. So I'll let you do that.
Boom. All right, we're on here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new note so that we can just go ahead and go through some of these things right away. Gosh, I love this. I'm not huge on talking theory. I just want to get stuff done. So upon opening this up for the first time, actually, let's go back. I want to find you, because doing this right actually starts with your profile, not just the group. So if you'll notice, for example, on my profile, this is what we'd call a profile funnel. It's abundantly clear what we do and how to take the next step immediately after coming to the page, just like a well thought out funnel or website would be. Always think above the fold, does it get my message across? Is there a clear call to action? Though there's not technically a button, we've mimicked that, right? So want to learn how to build a lean 7-figure business organically without wasting your time, energy, and money on complicated funnels and ads? Click here to join the free Facebook group, which is then linked so that you can go directly to it. This is literally turning a Facebook profile into a funnel. Got a little bit slow internet at the place that I'm staying right now, so hopefully this opens up without too many hiccups. Boom. So now, very clear again, who are we? What do we do? This is exactly what's going to happen in this group. So it's maintaining continuity. We don't want to lose people through steps. We have the attention span that is now, unfortunately, less than a goldfish. We have 7 seconds. So for those of you that stayed with me here while that loaded, you've got a longer attention span than the average American. So anyway, let's go back and take a look at Eric's. Did he drop that in the chat? I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw Eric too. He said he doesn't use his own profile at all, which is like, he says, oops, totally normal. Most of us don't. But you're actually using it as a marketing piece.
It is an integral marketing piece here. I'm assuming this is him here. So Eric, nice cars. I like it. I'm assuming this is you since it's a physique and transformation expert. So here's note number 1, profile over page. Facebook makes money on people's pages. So whenever you're thinking about how to optimize your strategies, depending on a platform, think about how they make money and play their rules to your advantage. Facebook pages make money because businesses pay to run ads from Facebook pages. So when you put money into Facebook pages and ads, you're going to get exposure. When you don't, you have extremely limited reach, to the tune of maybe 2 to 5% of the people that like your page will ever see anything you post. Versus a profile, Facebook makes money by having profiles that indicate real people communicating back and forth, dedicating their time, energy, and attention to the platform, because Facebook runs ads to the people on the platform. So Facebook only works if people are using it and they're engaged, right? So your profile naturally is going to get more like 20% of your audience will be exposed to your post when you first post it. And then based on that, if that sample size engages heavily, Facebook is going to show that post to a bunch more people. That's how it grows. And likewise, if your content is seen by, that 20% that don't engage, then it's not going to show it to a bunch of people. So very simple. We want to initiate engagement on our profile because it's where we're going to get seen the most. So Eric, to give you and everyone else watching, because put yourselves into the shoes of what I'm speaking about right now. A simple transition to a fitness coach that has worked with us that's doing it well. And I don't want you to get caught up. Something I notice in the fitness industry, I want to have a disclaimer real quick. more than any other industry is just straight up trying to copy each other. I don't know why it's more prevalent there. Don't copy what you see, copy why they did it. Don't mimic exactly like, the fitness icon you look up to. Don't try and make content that looks like theirs. Think behind the scenes. Why are they posting what they're posting? What are they actually doing? If you see like a big long story post, don't like copy the post itself and put in your words. Think, oh, this is telling a personal story that resonates with our ideal client so that we can create rapport and move them into deeper intimacy. All right, so getting off on a tangent, but Eric, someone that you could look to as an example of a fitness profile funnel looks like this. My clients effortlessly transition to a plant-based lifestyle, lose fat, and keep their curves. It resonates with a specific audience. And her profile is very clear about what to do to take the next step.
That's awesome.
So this is what's called a profile funnel. This is actually step one of running a group successfully. Because when people, for example, find your profile and you can move them to the group, you've already gained a layer of compliance. It's when we're doing marketing, we need to get successive compliance from the people that we are marketing to. So when they take steps and they get what they're looking for on the other side, it deepens trust, deepens intimacy. And then likewise, when someone finds your group, because it's built the right way and is SEO optimized, and then they see you're running it and they go to your profile and your profile looks like someone that can help them, then they're much more willing to actually reach out. That's a huge difference that you'll see. I want to hammer that in between people that have a group that's like big and engaged and people that have a group that gets them money and clients. Because if they don't look the part on their profile, even if they have a great group, then they'll just go to the group, be like, wow, this is valuable, but I don't want to pay this guy. And not to be like crude, but it's very simple how the brain works when people are scrolling on social media like this. So Eric, a couple simple shifts, turning it into a profile funnel, actually posting content that you're likely posting in your group already to your page as well, so that people get the opportunity to experience who you are. So now looking at this group, I do like this cover photo. This looks very professional. It's clear about like what you're doing, but we actually want to shift this more to be outcome driven. So when I'm looking at this, your group name and cover photo should be outlined or should be result focused. So a good way to think about it is if your program, your core offer is to help people get a lean body without the use of something, or by employing this specific new unique mechanism like celery juice, right? That guy blew up. Then you want to actually feature that in both your cover photo and in your group name, because group names, this is going to be SEO optimized. I would show you, but my internet's slow. We just had a client that we brought into our 7-figure CEO program. She teaches real estate investing. And based on how we set up her group, based on the name and the cover photo, she's seeing about 50 people a day join her group just by searching real estate in the search bar. And so if you are actually optimized for search, then people are going to find your group on their own accord. And it's going to be able to grow organically without you having to do constant pushes for like free challenge or, free this, that, the other, because it attracts a community that we don't actually want. We want to bring in people who are actively searching for a solution to their problem. Those are people that are already problem aware and solution aware. And that's an ideal place to be, because then we can educate them on being product aware and then ultimately transition them to a buyer. So I want to see this community name shifted to something that would resonate with someone actually searching for what you offer. And you can find the unique language that the clients are using by either interviewing people you've worked with that were great, polling a potential client audience that you've identified as a great audience and finding out the words they use, and or going to Amazon and actually looking up book reviews for your specific topic. Go find 5-star rated books that are in the space that you're teaching. So if it's vegan dieting, like vegan books. If it's paleo, it's go to paleo books. Find a 5-star rated one or super highly rated, and then go in and read the verbiage of the 5-star reviews, because these are people that have already paid money to try and have a solution, and they've been stoked with the book because it resonated with them. So to get your marketing to resonate with them, we want to literally use the same words that they're using. And oftentimes we'll guess, but then when we find out for real, it's a very different reality. An example is when I worked with Possible Pat, building out his sales processes and team on the fulfillment side. We thought that his audience, as he was someone who had gone from morbidly obese to a physique competitor, we assumed, right, that someone who is obese is worried about getting diabetes or dying early. And that's what the marketing message was centered around. But it wasn't until we actually interviewed clients that we'd worked with that we found their deepest pain and deepest insecurity and shame was around their shoe potentially coming untied in public because they couldn't tie it themselves. So when we changed the headline of the funnel to, I just wanted to be able to tie my own shoes again, conversion rates shot through the roof. We stopped guessing and we started actually doing research. And it doesn't have to take a long time, but it's getting their words. So their words in your title in a way that's search engine optimized, and your cover photo in a way that speaks to the results of your core program, so that people who come into your group, when they hear about your program after having the experience, right, of getting to know, like, and trust you through your content, then they're actually going to be a really primed buyer. Does this all make sense so far?
Totally. Well, these shifts are so subtle though, but they're so impactful at the same time. But like for him, would it be something as just like getting rid of the abbreviations and using lean body consulting as the name, or is that even not the proper language that people are searching for? Like, are people, like, no one's searching for lean body. I'm assuming they want to get jacked or ripped just by his pictures. Like,
that's much better.
Yeah.
So just to bring her back up as an example, because her group now grows organically by, I think, about 15 people a day, which is pretty solid in the fitness space, especially since she doesn't post as much content on her profile like she could. And there are some other ways to grow your group really well that involve doing expert trainings, cross-pollination of audiences that we can get into in a moment. But her name shows up in search engine results because there's vegan, right? Think about search terms like LBC community. No one looks for LBC community. It just doesn't happen unless they know you and they've specifically heard your group name. People look up vegan. People look up vegan weight loss. People look up weight loss. People look up weight loss support group. People look up plant-based. People look up plant-based lifestyle. People look up plant-based lifestyle tips. People look up weight loss tips for women. People look up plant-based lifestyle tips for women.
Wow.
So we want it to be as SEO optimized as possible by fitting in those keywords in a way that still makes sense. Does that make sense?
Very much.
Okay, beautiful. So simple shift, that's going to lead to actually being able to resonate with your peeps. Because this, to me, actually almost feels like it's a client community, just looking at it. Anyway, let's dive in because we don't have the most time. So description, welcome to the best group, call it a community for those looking to feel. In your description, I'd love to see a hook. So a hook is like, you ever wondered why you haven't been able to lose weight after doing keto? Like if you're way against keto, it's like, you ever wonder why keto never worked long-term? ? People are like, oh, okay, I'm curious. Because remember, I don't know if you just noticed, I had to click see more, right? It doesn't display your entire description upon first glance. So we want to hook them. Then you can say, we put together this community to solve that problem for good. We chat about all things fitness related, but dive into the core components of mindset foundations, which will allow you to finally get results doing things that actually feel good. Not a bad description, but starting with a hook that actually gets people interested. Again, remember, attention span of goldfish. So we got to cater to that.
Always going back to that, I think, is really helpful.
Yeah, always. Just the fundamentals.
Yes.
All right, so let's see. Beautiful. I'm glad that you have questions up. Questions, super important. Something that you might not be aware of yet, though, because it looks like you don't have this in here. There's a software that one of our clients developed called Group Convert, and it's actually a Google Chrome extension. And the cool thing about it is it links up with your group and will actually send all of your question responses to a Google Sheet. I want to let that sink in for a second.
Wait, that's data. So you can categorize it and have all of your people in there, including like their answers and any information they give you?
Bingo. So it's a really cool thing. It actually comes free with the course if you buy the Group Growth and Monetization Blueprint, because it's normally a monthly subscription thing. But what it does is you link it up to your group, and every time you approve a member, it will take their profile, their name, and all the answers to the questions and categorize them in a Google Sheet for you. So you can build data on your community. Next step, because that's give you an insight into marketing, so that every time you make a post, so we want questions to basically be like this. Questions. Here's your format. 1, why are you joining? 2, what is the biggest with X? And then exchange for email. So why are you joining is like, what are you hoping to get out of this community? What about this community makes you excited to be a part of it? Don't use these exact words. These are just the intention. Why are you joining? So we want to speak to vision, paradise. What do they want? Second question is, what hurts? What's the struggle, right? And we could phrase this with, what is the number one struggle you have with your weight? Or what are the top 3 things you struggle with fitness? So anytime we're doing customer research questions, and these will be like in your group as content, it's what's the number 1 thing? And what are the top 3 things? Just like that. And the reason for that is because when you do these posts that you are going to make on a regular basis in your group, typically once to twice a week, the answers to these become your content for the following week. If the number 1 struggle with someone's weight loss is not knowing how to calculate macros, and you have 8 people out of 12 that comment that say, I have no idea what the fuck I'm supposed to eat, then guess what you do a couple days later? You do a live video calculating how to figure out what to eat. And all of a sudden you're in their head. They go, oh my God, this guy gets me. This is so valuable. Wow. When I engage, when I give to him, because they're giving to you. Remember to be super appreciative of every time someone engages or comments or likes, because they're giving to you. Whenever someone gives to you, give back with acknowledgement, with affirmation, or with new information that could support them, but do it in a group setting where you're actually going to go do a teaching now on that topic. One of our clients, Jeff Miller, he has a group now of 40,000. It took him about a year to do. He's not a fitness coach. He does agency coaching, helps people scale up their agencies. So he does this on a systematic, like every single week on Thursday. He has one of these posts. It's either what's the number 1 thing or what are the top 3 things. And then the next week, he produces a masterclass or some sort of live training, typically paid like $47 to $97. And now he has an entire library on his site of these trainings. So anytime someone has a question or it fits one of the trainings, you can just refer them to that. And he is currently doing 7 figures annually in his business. It's very, very simple. You just need to follow the process of getting to know your community and showing that you're listening by actually producing things around what they're saying so that they come back. So these same customer research question goes right in here on the front end. And then if you're categorizing this stuff, like if you don't get group convert, you'll be doing it by hand. You'll be copy and pasting each person's answers out into a Google Sheet. While you have a small group, it's possible. It's absolutely worth it. Long term, definitely get something to do it for you, because data is the only way you're going to be able to grow big long term. That's the biggest difference that separates a 6-figure business from an 8-figure business, is knowing the data and actually having solid systems in place. So this question, I'm not sure why it's there. So we want to basically switch these. This is not a bad question, but it takes up valuable real estate. This is also pretty solid, but you'll find better results from these. Reason for that is because you're going to get their words, and you can literally use their words in your content. So you say, why are you joining? I just want to learn how to fit back into a bathing suit again that I like. Your piece of content says, want to fit back into your favorite bathing suit without giving up, whatever it is that you take a firm stance against. Boom. Now you resonate. So Eric, hopefully you're still on and you don't hate me. If you could approve me to join, I would be happy to take a look around on the inside now of your group. I know we just spent a lot of time on the outside, but that is so important. Okay, let's take a look. How are we doing?
Eric hates you, but he's still going to let you join this group.
I love it. Beautiful. Okay, so let's take a peek inside. AJ, do you have any questions or anything that you want to clarify based on what we've covered so far?
I'm honestly just absorbing it. Like, it's just so interesting to me because, in the past, I've just looked at all these things very passively, and like they really don't, I can't really do much with them. Like, do I want to ask questions? And whatever, but like you're very intentional. You're very intentional on creating this, and like literally down to each question that you're posing to new members. And I just don't think people are thinking on this level. And that's exactly why I brought you here. I just think this is so crucial and so key, and really not that difficult either. It's just being more intentional about what you're doing.
Yeah. And I love that. And thank you for that affirmation. And at our last mastermind that we ran, where we get people together, actually, we do it every quarter. It's pretty fun. One of our clients had this revelation in her mind. She goes, I used to think groups were so hard and that you had to do all this extra stuff. And then I realized I'm posting the same shit that I always did on Facebook, just inside my group. And it makes me more money now. And that's really all it is.
It actually makes me money now.
Right. You don't have to think of it as this huge, thing you have to do. It's just posting the same content. You're probably posting in 8 other places, but more targeted in one spot. And remember what I said at the start, over 2 million done last year, completely organically, only from a Facebook group. We don't do any Instagram. We don't do YouTube. We don't do anything else. It's very simple.
Do you think people should use paid ads to get people into the group? Or do you think that's not even necessary?
Not even necessary. When you're at a group the size of Jeff's, where he hit 30,000, then he started actually using retargeting ads to specifically get people to join the group. And these are pennies on the dollar kind of ads. But until you have a group that grows organically based on search engine results, based on your cover photo, based on you doing interviews with other people's groups, cross-pollinating audiences, based on your personal profile content, then paying for ads is it's like pouring gas on a fire in your kitchen. It's like you got that in the wrong place. So make sure all the components are working first, and then use advertising, if you do so choose, just to expedite the process. It's like if I have a funnel, for example, like what I want you to think about is people build funnels, click funnels, right? So there's a landing page, people come to it. A certain percentage will opt in to an opt-in on that page and move to the next step. And then from there, a certain percentage of people will buy an offer and then potentially buy an upsell offer. And so it's them seeing the next step is completely dependent upon that first page being optimized so that a higher percentage goes through. So if 10% of people see the page and they go through versus 80% of people see the page and they go through, then it doesn't make sense for me to spend a bunch of money on a page that's converting at 10% to send a bunch of traffic. It makes more sense for me to optimize the page so that 80% of people that see it convert, so that then when I run ads, I could be profitable. Or if you never run ads, like we haven't, then you're still investing time, you're investing energy. And so if 80% of your energy is converting, then you could potentially work half the amount of time that you are right now and get better results. So just think about it that way. These are just funnels. We're just using Facebook in a creative way to mimic that so that we're not migrating people off the platform, which is another step that's difficult to get people to do.
I think it's a good point too, because people are very quick to want to use paid advertising with incredibly small audiences because they know it's going to like reach people, but reaching people isn't really the goal. Reaching anybody isn't really the goal. But like I hadn't thought about this as essentially a funnel, like a landing page.
Right.
Having them move through the process, it's like a free marketing funnel.
100%. That's exactly what it is. So, Eric, I'm noticing that you have a huge amount of likes on this page. Curious to know how many of these are from the Middle East. If you ran like a page like campaign, not to make like an assumption or anything. I know a lot of people do that. Like how many of these are potentially leads, like that grew maybe organically?
He says none are bought.
None are bought.
None are bought.
Okay. Interesting. Where did they come from, Eric?
I mean,
Because it's a great number.
It's a huge number.
Amy, do you do 10 years? Cool. You guys have the potential, because I look at that as energy, right? There's a lot of energy that's already here. With literally a couple small tweaks to what you're doing, you could have some massive momentum infused into your business through this group that you're already doing. Yeah, this is fantastic. I'm really glad that you guys volunteered to do this. I know a lot of people that have been crushing it online for a while tend to be like hesitant or resistant to getting feedback like this. And so I really acknowledge you guys for doing that. These posts that you're making right now, think about it. We've got, 207, 267, 23 comments, 37 shares from a page of 187,000 people. Let's just look at an example. And Grant Eilertson, 57. This will probably bring up the post. Hoping. Here we go. So the difference between a profile and a page, again, just to exemplify this with real numbers, you have a page of 187,000 likes, which is badass, and I commend you guys. You can totally use that. You could probably run ads from this page with a couple tweaks and have some great results with people getting into your group. But what I want to do is look at this engagement. I want to be fair to you, so I'm going to look at kind of like an average. So 127, 71, 2 comments. Okay, so like a great post gets this. And this is an engagement post, just so that we are aware. There's engagement posts where all we're trying to do is get the algorithm to say, hey, show us to more people. And then there's offer posts, or what we call comment for value posts, where people are actually raising their hand saying, hey, I'm a qualified lead. So this isn't one of those posts, but I'm still going to use this as an example. 267 people, 23 comments. So if I do 267 divided by 187,000, I'll even knock off a couple of likes. So we have 0.001% of people that are here on your page liked that. Now we'll look at this post here, which was a comment for value post that I did. where the people that are commenting are raising their hands saying, hey, I'm a qualified lead. Please give me this resource so that I could take the next step in your funnel. So the 6 questions that have closed $2 million in coaching and sales in the past 12 months fit on a 5x7 note card. I'll happily give them to you. But first off, let's be clear. Sales didn't actually come easy to me. What am I doing? I'm giving them a hook. Boom. Then I'm basically giving them a story so that I can resonate with where they are. It's the old feel, felt, found. This will work really well still in the fitness space. It's getting a little jaded in the business space, but you don't even have to really worry about that. So I used to feel the same way. And it wasn't until I found a solution. And I distilled the whole scary process of losing weight for good down to 6 vital questions, or down to 6 simple steps. But until now, let's see. And I've even shared them sporadically in my content before, but until now, I'd never created such a simple cheat sheet that it could fit on a blah, blah, blah note card. Anyway, want access? Drop 5x7 below. So what I'm doing is, this is called a comment for value post. We go into how to do all this stuff really effectively in the course, but you could take this concept right now and run with it. So a comment for value post is where someone's going to comment to get the value. I'm not dropping it in the comments. Eventually I did this probably 5 weeks after I did this post, because it was still getting engagement and I was done following up with it. We had, because I commented to everyone, cut this number in half. We had over 350 qualified leads from one post on my personal profile, where I have 3,000 friends. So 350 qualified leads who are raising their hand saying, hey, I'm curious to know more about this, divided by 3,000 people on my profile. We got a lot higher conversion rate right there. So just know that you don't have to have massive numbers in your audience to get massive results. But Eric, Amy, you guys have a massive audience, so you have some massive ability to create leverage there. Went off on a total tangent, but hopefully that was valuable for people to see, like, how to craft a post that can get people to the point at which they are raising their hand as a qualified lead. You would do this in your group. This is a big reason that I want to share this too. You can either get people into your group with a post like this, like, hey, sharing this information in my private group, drop mind blown below. And then the people that comment that, you would respond to them, say, hey, you still interested in a solution to blank? They say yes. Say, great. Mind if I ask you a few questions first to make sure it'll be a good fit? Totally. And you're going to temp check by doing some information gathering. What's your ultimate goal with this? Got you. What challenges have you been facing? Cool. Well, here's the link to the group. I also have some deeper insights that I could share, but it's a bit much to type out. You open to a quick call so I can share these with you. Boom. Now we have a sales call with people joining the group, where we do the exact same thing, but instead of the resource being the group, it's a document, or it's a lead magnet, or it's a video. But we still want to have the same messenger communication, where we're saying, hey, thanks for commenting. Were you still interested in the solution that you were raising your hand for? They say yes. Say, awesome. I'm putting it together right now so that I can make sure it's as valuable as possible. Can I ask you a couple questions? Totally. We're gaining permission. We don't want to just jump in and be, a spam artist. Doesn't work. But if we can tell them why, we want to ask them some questions, and then we can illuminate what's going on with them, and we have a solution for them, we'll let them know. Hey, I actually have some really good insights after working with a couple hundred people in your shoes. Happy to share them with you. Just a bit much to type out. You got a couple quick minutes to chat? You could book a triage call right then and there, hop on the phone for 15 minutes, qualify them for an enrollment call, book that for a couple days later. This today is not going to be a sales training. It's a group training, but trust, we get into all that stuff too. So anyway,
I'll have you on for a part 2 sales training, because I know it's another one of your bread and butter. But no, I like this tactic though, because everyone's always super concerned about, DMing and cold DMing, but it's a very safe, like very approachable, natural conversation that, first of all, it's in your group. So these are
Mm-hmm.
people who have already kind of opted into you, and you're asking a lot of permission. So yeah, I just think it's a really nice way to go about it in a very natural way. You're leading with the intention of helping them, as you always are. And yeah, you're just kind of moving them through that process a little bit quicker, I guess, just by asking them to raise their hand and asking them
Yep.
if they want more information, and then ask them if it's okay if you give it to them.
Bingo. So in order to influence someone in the post-trust era, uh, after 2008, right, where people essentially lost a lot of trust in people that were just selling quick, easy fixes, or, no money down, this, that, the other. They call it the post-trust era. I didn't make that up. People need to feel free, smart, and in control. You're not going to be able to influence someone into a buying decision if you are taking away their ability to feel free, smart, or in control. So, ways to circumvent that, to do a good job of influencing someone to make a good decision to change their life with you, is going to be asking for permission to move to the next steps, respecting their space, showing up in integrity as an honest, genuine human, and letting it feel like their choice to move to the next step. Like, hey, would you like this? Just drop this and I'll get it to you. And again, you could see like people just raising their hands. And then when you're actually going in and responding to them, see, like, this is what you want. You want people to literally be posting testimonials on your page because what they got for free was working for them. So anyway, it's developing relationships by asking for permission to move to the next steps, respecting their space, letting them feel free, smart, and in control. You don't want to make them wrong. You just want to say, I totally hear you. And I can see why you might think that. In fact, a lot of people that we've worked with have the same thought process. However, there is an alternative route you could go. Are you open to exploring that option? I didn't say, oh, well, what you're doing is completely wrong. Here's why I'm right. Notice the subtle shifts that are going to make all the difference. So if we go in here, and we got a couple minutes left, so I'm just going to take a quick look through. Oh, this is the group. And then I want to just do open Q&A, anyone that's got there. So guys, your group is awesome. Like, you've got a lot of members already in here. Let's see. Love it. Love it. This is pinned. Perfect. So for those of you who are not Eric and Amy, you need to have a pinned video at the top of your group that's welcoming them to the community, telling them why you built it, what they can expect to get out of it, and what you expect from them as a community member. As an example, hey, built this community to help people lose weight for good. What you can expect from me is valuable content on a regular basis. In order for me to do that, what I expect from you is for you to be open, honest, transparent, respect each other, and comment. Very simple. You're just setting expectations. And you want it pinned so that it always shows at the very top anytime someone comes in. If I join a group and the first post I see has no engagement, I'm like, this group's crickets. But if the first thing I see has 100 reactions and a bunch of comments, then instantly I go, oh, this might be a valuable group. Very simple, the way the brain's going to work. And the way to inflate this a crap load is every time you get a new round of clients that come in, or a new round of group members, over here on your on the side, it'll say, such and such people have joined your group this week. Click this to write a post. Just click the button. It'll bring up a post right here that has all the names. Just copy those names out of it. Go to the comment section of this pinned post, tag them all. So you just paste and then put an @ in front of each of their names so it tags them. And I like to say, welcome to the family, comma, all the names. Grateful you're here. What are you grateful for today? P.S. Welcome gifts are linked in the pinned post. So something that you did great, guys, is have a pinned post here where you're probably welcoming people to the community and you're getting a lot of engagement. Something that can be even better is linking a valuable resource up here in the top. as an example.
Is that a free resource for them?
Exactly. And so, what that can look like. We just launched a YouTube channel this year. So that's top for Andrew right now. Before that, it was the Group Growth and Engagement Challenge. He just moved that to the bottom. So this Group Growth and Engagement Challenge is something that is literally, it's free. It's inside the units section of our Facebook group. And you can go through and start checking off some of the things that I'm teaching today for free. You can just go in there, click on the units. It's there. That's what this directs you to. But notice there's also some affiliate things here that will get him paid long-term if people use the softwares. So ActiveCampaign, it's an email software. ClickFunnels, it's a funnel software. All right, so these are free trials, affiliate codes. You can give those away as free gifts for people, right? So think creatively. Is there a supplement company that you absolutely love that all your clients use and you have a discount code for them? Feel free to put it up there. For this community only, 15% off supplements. Would I recommend that being number one? No. In fact, for most fitness coaches that have a very small audience, the only thing you want up there is your stuff. However, for people like you guys, Eric, Amy, if you grow this group to the size that it could be with the people that have liked your personal page, you could actually make a healthy little chunk off of having some other affiliate stuff in there. However, for most people, what you want to do is a free challenge where you're indoctrinating people into your ideology. So the whole point of a free challenge your ideology. So to go into the units and take a look here, what this would look like, you would set it up like this. So your group needs to be a social learning group. It gives you tabs. And basically you can do stuff like member wins and post whenever people make a post that's saying, hi, thanks to what you did, I did this, post it in here. So people could be like, holy shit, there's a bunch of wins. When you do in-group trainings, like we do Fix My Group, kind of like what we're doing right now, where we go through some people's profiles. It's a fantastic way to drum up business because you're displaying your expertise in a group setting by working simply with one person. I am flabbergasted that more fitness coaches don't do this. Could be like a Fix My Diet, like where you literally bring them on for a live interview like this. You go through all the things they eat in a day and you calculate their macros with them. And you basically help them devise a meal plan that would work specifically for them over the course of 30 minutes. You helped one person, it's displayed in front of 8,000 other people. It's a piece of content that's valuable. People want to see that shit. So that's just one simple example. There's so much could be done in the fitness space. It doesn't need to feel as hard as it does for a lot of people. But anyway, Group Growth and Engagement Challenge. So you could have, if you're a vegan coach, transition to a plant-based diet, 5-day challenge. All right, so you're actually showing people the fundamentals of like what they need to replace in their diet so that they can actually live a sustainable plant-based diet without being nutrient deficient. And you're going to talk about the what and the why with less how. So you'll say things, for example, in this context, like, vegan weight loss. What looks like, so what we're going to be doing is transitioning your meat-centered diet to a plant-based diet. That's a what. That's just a fact. Like that's what's happening. The why, you're going to give them reasons why. The reasons we're going to do this, insert reasons. I'm not a vegan, so I don't have all the reasons. But let's just say you believe there's lower carcinogenic effects, which would reduce inflammation in the body, leading to better digestion, and I don't know, easier weight loss. So you're going to say, we're doing that because this. We're not going to talk about all the how. We're not going to go deep into, and here's exactly how you figure out the perfect things for you. We're going to say, this is what you do. Here's why. For more in-depth information on how to apply this to your own life, we have a custom 12-week program built around our clients that make it super simple and easy. So all your group content should be focused heavily around what and why. Less how. People pay for the how. So if you have a challenge like that, it's linked up in your post here. And every single time someone's welcomed into the group, they get to go through that. At scale, you are indoctrinating people into your ideology. When they buy into your ideology, which is, again, your ideology is the unique way that you look at their problem. When they buy into that, there's no more price comparison. There's no more shopping around. You become the only relevant solution for their problem. And so you're going to do that by indoctrinating people into your ideology with a free, like 2-day, 5-day challenge. It took, like, it doesn't have to take a long time. You could literally build out your challenge in a day or launch it over the course of 5 days, and it just stays evergreen because it's housed in the units and it's linked up here. I don't like doing a bunch of things all the time over and over again. Like, do it once, let it be. So anyway, going through here, we don't want people to be able to share. This looks like a link. I like stuff like this. This tends to work well. So people are posting, people are engaging. This group is already working well in the way that people are actually, I'm noticing a lot of different profiles that are posting. So this shows me a community that's engaged, that wants to rally around something, but I don't yet see what they're rallying around. So we want them to be able to have an identity as a part of our group, because when people can feel like they identify with your tribe, now we're doing something different. So sales is super simple. It's like, hey, are you selling things? Like, are you putting money in the bank? Right? But Brad Newman, one of our clients that actually now coaches on our staff, he has modules inside GGMB because he's such a badass. He came up with tribal language around sales that made his group magnetic. So whenever you collect a paid in full payment, it would look like PIF. What? PIF. All right? PIF. And he thought that was funny. He started calling it Piffies. And then, because he would get so excited about getting Piffies, everyone too, that led to Piffy Stiffies. We got a Piffy Stiffy today. Tribal language, now people rally around that. I see it all over the place. He created essentially a little movement around one core component of what he's doing. And he literally made some merchandise and has sold it with Piffy Stiffy on it. So what you want to do that, like, because guys, I'm being as critical as I can because I want this to be valuable for everyone. And again, I really appreciate you like putting up this community that's already working well and asking for some feedback. Doing a lot of things right. What's missing in a big way is a feeling of tribe. And if you can create that, then people will come, they will stay, they will buy everything you have to offer. So what can you do to rally troops around a common core theme? Like, even someone that has also worked with us, her name's Michelle Cardolas. She is a black belt in Taekwondo. She has branded herself the mini ninja beast. And so she's got ninja beast all over stuff. And people that want to work with her view themselves as ninja beasts. So what are you doing that can rally people around that message? That'll be another big thing. And then what I want to see consistently from you guys is actually having intention behind what you're posting as customer research questions. A lot more of these on a regular basis is going to give you the basis for really, really specific content so that we don't have a very general group that brings a bunch of people in for free stuff but doesn't really convert them to clients, but is very targeted and specific. So it feels like you're in their head and that you are the only relevant solution to solve their problem. Also, go into your settings. Don't let people share posts into your group. It kills engagement. Not sure exactly why Facebook does that because this is a Facebook video, but they do. So in your group settings, you don't want people to be able to share stuff into your group. You can find that by going into like more and settings. It'll be in there if it's your own group. Those are the biggest things. I know I could pick apart like some more stuff if we spent longer, but if you just do those things, you're going to be setting yourself up in a much better way to take a lot of this momentum you've already got, do some big things. You don't have units here yet because your group is not set as a social learning group, but it's simple. It's also in your Facebook group settings. So shift that so you've got units and you can house some of the most important information for people. It'll allow you to have a group that basically keeps running itself without having to always do like something new. So I'm going to take a look at questions real quick.
Yeah, Amy had put one in the group. Can you see that?
Yeah. Would you suggest weekly video? We get average of 100 or 50 to 100 per week these past couple months. For those settings, you have teachings on how to implement. You have a 15-day boot camp that would be great for this. Love this. You guys are awesome. So you actually want to do a core video that's going to be up there for good, instead of doing a new one each week, because the big thing is we want to have a ton of engagement on that one. So we're just going to do one video. Go into and here's an example. Like we still have a video on here from when this group was called Digital Marketing for Entrepreneurs. This is an old video. It's from April 19th, 2019, and it still works great. I'd like to get a new one rolling, but when you have so much engagement, like this here is actually a huge driver. I don't even have to look at the comments. Most people won't. It's funny. Most people will never even click this to look at it, but just seeing that it's big creates social authority. So you want to post a video just once and have it up there as you're welcome, and then tag people that are new in the comments below. Like, hey, welcome to the group. Stoked you're here. Where you live? You know, what are you grateful for? Just something to drive some engagement.
Awesome. I think Amy had tagged on a second part of that. Do you have any teachings on how to implement? We have a 15-day boot camp that would be great for this. Would you just recommend your course for that kind of thing?
Yeah, you guys are actually at a point though, with the momentum you have. If you want to have a conversation with me, we might be able to support you more in one of our hands-on things. Like I was assuming we'd talk to mostly fitness coaches that were like kind of just getting started. You guys have an audience that you could do a lot with. But even if you just went through the GGMB course, it's $997. It's pretty simple. It's step by step on how to do all these things we talked about and a hell of a lot more. And if you want to get to know us better before doing that, feel free, click on the units section of this group and go through the group growth and engagement challenge. I mean, we have people literally that grow their group by hundreds of members and make money just from these. So it's a good way for you to get to know us better and also recognize what I just did. When you do interviews in other people's groups to cross-pollinate your audience, which is a huge way, we don't really have a ton of time to get into today, but it's a huge way to bolster authority and bring new people into your group. If you have a simple challenge so that people can get to know you better, and you can say that, and people can come into your group to consume your free content in an easy way, you're going to be able to indoctrinate them much easier at scale so that they get a chance to know you before you even talk with them. This is, again, how you create pre-sold buyers before you ever have to make a pitch.
Love it. I think you're blowing people's minds.
I talked really fast because I just wanted to get in as much as I possibly could give these awesome people, because I know you've created a dope community that I'm not even a part of, because you respect the integrity of the container so much, and I really acknowledge you for that too, man.
Thank you so much, man. It's trying to keep you guys out as much as I can.
Get out.
So you want to open it up for questions?
Yeah, hit me. Any questions you got?
Anybody have any questions about anything that Grant has covered?
I didn't cover that, Facebook groups, organic marketing.
Right. I'm also going to check online, see if there's any.
Dope. This was fun. I love doing these.
Oh, these are great, man. Well, this was a really good one because I think people are like, no one's really talking about how to do groups. They're all just talking about how important they are. And like you said, like, yeah, when you were in fitness, everyone's like, oh yeah, you should have a group, but no one really told you how to use it or how to set it up properly. This is just like next level stuff. And I think when people actually understand like how these can be monetized and that they can do that, they might shift their focus away from what they're currently doing. Like their business model could change completely.
Mm-hmm.
They might decide, you know what, I don't want to run like groups and I don't want to run, like one-on-one like pods of fitness stuff anymore. Maybe I just want to corral everyone in this group and figure out how I can make that happen. Or,
yeah,
there's so many avenues to go when you have the power, I think, of the group when it's set up like this.
100%. And the cool thing about this unique marketing strategy that's, different than any other platform, you are setting the pace for group coaching from the start. Like literally from the start. So that when you put together a leveraged group program, people already know how to engage in a community. They already are used to being in a tribe of people. So it actually makes it a lot easier for you to transition like from your marketing here to group fulfillment too. That's something that I've seen a lot of people run into is, maybe they run Facebook ads and it's a very much like, get on a call with me and I'll do this and I'll do that. And then you get into a program of theirs and it's leveraged because they had a smart coach that helped them build something where they could fulfill in a group setting. But they were sold in on a one-to-one feel. And so there's an incongruence there. But if your marketing is actually congruent with that and you're indoctrinating people into understanding why a group is actually more valuable in the first place and they love it and they get to go from this large group where they might not have as much of a say to a tight-knit, close community, then that is in and of itself a great selling feature. You're on the phone with someone like, so how'd you find me in the first place? Oh, I've loved being a part of your group for the past couple months. You post some really valuable stuff in there and I love how people talk back and forth. Awesome. I appreciate you sharing that. Have you ever considered being a part of a closer knit community so we could work more intimately together? I could have more time to answer your questions and you'll be with a higher caliber of people that are taking more action to get what they want too. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah. It's a great quote. You'll become the product of your 5 closest friends. And so if we can get you surrounded by people who are actually doing what they say they're going to, do you think it might be easier for you to stick to the actions that you commit to? Boom. It's a simple conversation then when it's congruent. Absolutely. I'm surprised we don't have more questions. We must have just answered everything on the training or broken some brains.
I know. What happened? That's cool. Maybe they're just gonna sit on it.
Yeah, they're like, fuck, I gotta digest.
Let it marinate. They're all in their groups working on changing all their stuff right now. That's what's happening.
Right. I hope so. Take it, implement it, run with it, make some money. Come tell me how much you made later. I'll help you make more.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Awesome. Well, I'll leave it open for like another 30 seconds or so. If people can drop questions in there, they can feel free. Let me just make sure nothing's coming through on the Facebook end. But yeah, we obviously are going to post your training in our unit section because we have one for you. And this is an awesome training, dude. I'm so excited to have it in there. And then if people are interested, we'll also link your course in there, and people can read about it and go from there to connect with you further if they are interested.
Dope. And I'll tell you what, I was thinking about like, what can we do for your community? Um, so for anybody that actually purchases through your unique link that's available for your community, we'll track it to make sure. Um, I'm going to do a free implementation call with them after a week in the program so that we can like go through some of the things that they've done and actually audit them like this. It's one thing to just apply information and think you're doing it right, but then to see, well, the eyeball can't see itself, right? So to have actual eyes on it. To be clear, we don't do that as a part of this course. It's leveraged, obviously.
At $9.97, it should be. So it's self-paced, but you're saying you'll provide that check-in with them to make sure they're actually implementing, which is like the thing that people don't do. They'll just buy up courses left and right. I see it all the time, and either consume and not implement, or just not even consume. They just have this course. So
Yeah,
I think that's a really nice and generous offer, man. And thank you on behalf of our group. That's really, really nice of you to take the time to do that.
absolutely, man. Yeah, so we'll do a 30-minute session. Well, I'll go through some of the things you've done, make sure we do any tweaks that need to happen on the spot, and make sure it's all working for you.
Awesome, man. Well, I don't see any questions, so apparently these guys have it all figured out. So
Beautiful.
you've done
I
your
love
job,
it.
sir. You don't need to come back. They're all good.
Love it. Well, AJ, it's been really fun, man. Thanks for letting me jabber on. I normally like to have more back and forth, but I just wanted to squeeze as much in as possible.
Absolutely, man. We'll have you in for a part 2 if you're open to it. Honestly, I think we're all just like jaw dropped, waiting for you to share with us your amazing knowledge. So again, we're very grateful to have you here. And thank you so much, man. I'll be talking to you very soon.
Sounds good, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All